The Battle of Saratoga, 1777. Picture this: the British, in their red coats and with all the arrogance of an empire on which the sun never sets, thinking they could just waltz down from Canada and split the rebellious American colonies in half. Spoiler alert, it didn't quite go as planned. The British plan, conceived by General John Burgoyne, was simple yet ambitious. He would lead his troops south from Canada, while another force would move north from New York City, and a third eastward from Lake Ontario. They aimed to meet in Albany, New York. The idea was to isolate New England from the rest of the colonies. On paper, it sounded like a stroke of genius. In reality, it was more like a scribble of overconfidence. Burgoyne's army was a colorful bunch. British regulars, German mercenaries, because why not outsource some of your fighting? Loyalists, Native Americans, and of course, a train of wagons that would make any modern-day camper envious. This, as it turned out, was part of the problem. This massive lumbering column moved with the speed and grace of a sloth in a tar pit. Meanwhile, the Americans, under General Horatio Gates and the hero of our tale, Benedict Arnold, yes, before he became America's most infamous turncoat, were not just sitting around knitting liberty caps. They were busy building fortifications and gathering a rather motley crew of Continental soldiers, militia, and anyone else who could hold a musket and didn't mind shooting at redcoats. The first significant encounter, the Battle of Freeman's Farm, happened on September 19th. Burgoyne, displaying the tactical finesse of a bull in a china shop, managed to achieve a Pyrrhic victory. He won the battle, but at the cost of a significant portion of his force. The Americans, though tactically defeated, were strategically just fine. They scurried back to their lines, ready to fight another day. Burgoyne, ever the optimist, waited for reinforcements that would never come. His communication lines were about as reliable as a weather forecast in the Sahara. The Americans, on the other hand, were getting stronger by the day. New troops, supplies, and even better spirits were arriving. It's almost as if they enjoyed the prospect of a good underdog story. Then came the second act, the Battle of Bemis Heights on October 7th. Benedict Arnold, now in the role of the hero for the time being, played a crucial part despite being relieved of command due to a previous squabble with Gates. Like a protagonist in a soap opera, he couldn't just stay away. He rode into the fray, rallied the troops, and led a daring assault on the British defenses. It was a smashing success. The British lines crumbled like a cookie in the hands of a toddler. After this resounding defeat, Burgoyne did what any reasonable person in an untenable situation would do. He retreated. But alas, retreat was as much a fantasy as his initial plan. Surrounded and outnumbered, with supplies as scarce as humility at a conqueror's banquet, Burgoyne surrendered on October 17, 1777. The surrender of Burgoyne was a turning point in the American Revolutionary War. It convinced France that these ragtag colonists might just have a chance of winning, leading them to enter the war on the American side. And when France steps into a conflict, you know it's a party. The Battle of Saratoga, ladies and gentlemen, was more than just a military victory. It was a testament to the fact that underestimating your enemy is the first step towards a historical faceplant. It showcased that a determined, albeit disorganized, force could stand against the might of a global empire. And let's not forget, it set the stage for Benedict Arnold's eventual heel turn, proving that today's hero could be tomorrow's villain. In conclusion, Saratoga was not just a battle, it was a dramatic lesson in strategy and the fickle nature of fate. And maybe, just maybe, it was a reminder that sometimes the underdog can have their day, especially when the other guy is too busy admiring his own reflection in the mirror of power.